Welcome to Genevieve's Round Table, a cozy corner of the realm where stories are stitched in yarn and a little magic threads its way through every row. I'm Genevieve, your stitch spellcrafter, fiber enthusiast, and full-time mischief manager. Here you'll find whimsical knit and crochet alongs inspired by legendary worlds, spellbound tutorials, and warm reflections brewed with tea and sometimes some tangled thread. So if you love soft textures, quiet enchantments, and crafting with heart, you're in the right place. Pull up a chair, gather your needles, hooks, and threads, and let's stitch some stories together. Welcome back to the Round Table Library, where the kettle is warm, the light is soft, and the seasons turn one quiet page at a time. Today's chapter comes wrapped in fog and early spring air. That strange, beautiful moment when winter loosens its grip and the world begins to remember itself again. In the veil of fog, small scenes of the world concealed, softly reappearing, each glimpse a quiet promise of old hope rising with light. March always feels like a month with a memory, a month that smells faintly of moss and old stories, as if the world itself is rummaging through its cedar-lined drawer for something green and time-worn to wear. I reach for the same things every year. The soft sweater that only belongs to this season, the books threaded with folklore, the quiet custom that reminds me that craft and hope are older than any winter's day. This week, a thick morning fog rolled across the fields. Warm spring air colliding with cold winter ground, and the early sun turned it into something eerie and mythical. Each moment I drove through it, another small scene of the world revealed itself. A quiet reminder that even in the fog, we are always moving toward the clear, crisp morning, waiting just ahead. March always stirs my hands toward small, symbolic projects, the kind of crafts that feel half ritual, half story, and entirely stitched into the season. This month, inspired by the folklore-rich cadence of the book A Curse as Dark as Gold by Elizabeth C. Bunce, my Maker's Corner became a little gathering of March talismans. A pair of Stirwaters-inspired socks that I featured in last month's video, a lace shamrock bookmark, and a knitted corn husk doll born from the book's recurring imagery. Each piece carries its own thread of meaning, but together they form a quiet March vignette, a trio of craft rooted in tradition, texture, and the soft turning towards spring. And tucked between all of this, the fog, the folklore, the quiet turning towards spring, I found myself wanting something small and symbolic to keep my place in the books I'm reading this month, something delicate, something that felt like March. So I crocheted a lace shamrock bookmark. The pattern came from 150 favorite crochet designs by Mary Carolyn Waldrop, originally written as lace trim, and I worked it in cream size 10 crochet thread with a little tassel made from leftover trim scraps that I got from Hobby Lobby. I was able to purchase the scraps in a bundle. It's simple, but it carries that early spring feeling, a whisper of green, a nod to St. Patrick's Day, and a gentle companion to the stories I'm wandering through right now. It's funny how something so small can feel like a seasonal marker, a tiny piece of March you can tuck between the pages. There's a moment in the book, A Curse as Dark as Gold, where corn husk dolls appear like a whisper of old craft. Not a plot point, just a soft, folkloric detail lingering in the background. Something about that image stayed with me. It felt like a March symbol, humble, handmade, rooted in the land and tradition. So I made one, but not in the traditional way. Instead of dried husks, I knitted long, tapered leaves in stockinette stitch. The fabric curled naturally along the edges, forming the soft veining of real husks. I tied the pieces together just as traditional corn husk dolls are assembled, added a scrap of lace trim for her hairband and belt, and dressed her in layers of green and blue for the fields and the sky. She wasn't a planned project, she was a seasonal one, a small intuitive make born from the book's atmosphere and the turning of the season. When she was finished, I wrapped her in every leftover ribbon and trim I had, not to hide her, but to let her emerge. In the animation, the ribbons unwind themselves like husks peeling back, clockwise and counterclockwise, until she stands revealed. Then the flowers hop into her basket one by one, as if answering her call. She turns, she takes a few small steps toward the viewer, and for a moment she feels less like a doll and more like a visiting spirit from the fields. And because March is a month of small rituals, I wanted to share this month's yarn storage tip. Last month, I showed how I rewrap my yarn onto toilet paper rolls to keep it from tangling. Very glamorous, I know. This month, I'm showing how I store them. I start with a ribbon, just the kind you can get from the party aisle to string on balloons. I cut the ribbon to a length of around 12 inches, whatever works best for you. Fold it in half and then knot it at the end. I then thread the ribbon through the center of each roll, pulling the ribbon loop up on each end. I then string those loops of ribbon onto a round shower ring. My yarn is now ready to be hung on my nearest rack or shelf. I like to hang them on my craft nook shelves. My shelves for my craft nook are actually bathroom shelves, so they have a small towel rack on the bottom. Also, the yarn sleeve folds neatly inside the roll, so I always know everything about the yarn. And because the yarn is on a roll, I can use toilet paper racks or paper towel holders to hold the yarn while I'm knitting or crocheting. It's simple, but it's become one of my favorite little systems, a quiet ritual of order and care. This little doll also appears in my March issue of the Starlit Stitcher, where she joins a basket of other seasonal makes. She sits on my shelf now like a March talisman, a reminder of old craft, old curses, and old hope. Thank you for wandering through the fog with me today. March is a month that asks us to trust what we can't see, to believe in thawing ground, in returning light, in the quiet promises hidden in the mist. As you step back into your own day, may those promises reveal themselves gently, one small scene at a time. Until our needles meet again, may your days be adventurous, your nights cozy, and your heart always at home in the library. Mischief managed. Knox. Thank you for joining me at Genevieve's Round Table, where every stitch holds a little story and every moment sparkles with a hint of wonder. Whether it's yarn, story, or a quiet cup of tea, I hope today brought a touch of magic to your world. If you'd like more cozy tales and thread-spun dreams, subscribe and stay close. There's always room at the table. Also, check out our link below to check out our blog. And follow us on social media. Until we meet again, may your days be stitched with joy, your heart full of warmth, and your imagination gently aglow. Until next time.